Alright, so today I'm gonna be reliving a memory that's from a distant time. So let's all go back to 2020 when the pandemic was here, when Minecraft was booming and everything in life was about as good as it could be for 2020 standards. The Dream SMP was a big thing and many content creators were getting their debut. One of those names happened to be Wilbur Soot, and to be honest, I haven't heard much about Wilbur Soot in the last few years, and what came out today has absolutely shocked me. Like, I honestly didn't think that Wilbur was this bad, but this is just interesting. So what happened is this YouTuber, her name is Shubble, or Shelby, I'm just gonna call her Shelby because it's a little bit easier. She came out on YouTube and technically her stream on Twitch, and she basically came out and talked about her abusive ex. And she didn't name drop this ex, but she gave a lot of traits that kind of pointed to Wilbur Soot throughout the live stream. And I'm going to play a couple of clips here in just a second, but one of the kind of things she left on a Reddit thread was that it was a very tall British man, which, you know, Wilbur is, and a popular content creator, which Wilbur is. And Wilbur actually came out and kind of he replied to Shelby's tweet on her alt, which we'll get into all that here in just a second. And he also kind of, you know, came out and admitted everything. So now I'm going to bring up the first clip that Shelby talks about in her live stream.
Hear about physical abuse, I think of hitting. I think of hitting and punching. So I thought that this wasn't violent enough to be abuse. I thought that it was just like a constant accident that he kept hurting me, but he's not hitting me. And it didn't start as something that he did to hurt me. He had this habit of biting, which is so weird to me now, but he said that he had had this habit since he was a kid, and even his mom said that that was true.
Biting. Now, I understand that some people have, you know, weird things that they do, like they bite their nails and whatnot if they're stressed or just as a habit. I have that habit ever since I entered high school. I don't know why. But biting people, I mean, that's a kind of different ballpark, and the thing is, that isn't really normal to me. I don't have friends that bite. I mean, I have a friend that jokingly bites. That's a little weird, but biting as a normal thing to me is just so outrageous and so not, it's not okay. And I understand that some people have, like, you know, weird things or psychological things that they just can't help, but biting ever since you were a little kid, I mean, bro's just been teething this whole time. Also, something else to bring up about the biting part, they actually had a safe word for that whole thing. And like, so if she was biting too hard, like, hey, you're biting. First off, I just want to know where and how he was biting and how it was a romantical thing that they could do. Like, my mind just can't wrap around that. Just put it in the comments below. Tell me how that is romantical. And secondly, they had a safe word, and even though he would hit the limit and she would say a safe word, he completely ignored, which is just so downright disgusting that you would ignore the safe word that you put in place for safety reasons and completely ignore it and just give in to your own will. And this wasn't even the first person. Shelby, a former bandmate, came out on Twitter. I'll put the tweet up on screen right now, and came out and basically said the same thing, that she bit her and she was a friend, not even in a relationship. Which is just, it's so weird, bruh.
He lived in filth like I have never seen. And I've seen filth. This was the worst. He would spill things on the floor and never, literally never, clean them up. He got an ant infestation once and wasn't going to do anything about it because he said, bugs are normal in British houses.
Now, at this time on Twitter, Wilbur did say that he had an ant infestation at the time. And the thing is, if this is true, I could understand to an extent, like if, you know, you aren't the cleanest about everything. No, I'm not necessarily the cleanest about everything sometimes, but I at least try and like go back and pick up after myself. If it's been a long day and I see some stuff on the floor, I usually pick it up. Like if it's closed, I'll make sure it's all tidy up by the end of the day. But if it's true filth, like the way I'm described, like you describe this, like, oh, this is filthy, then that is kind of out of Wilbur's character. I always thought of Wilbur as kind of like a cleaned up, nice guy. He's always looking kind of fresh and spiffy in the videos, which obviously, you know, it could be a persona. It's YouTube, it's Instagram. People, you know, change their surroundings to fit the cool look. But I always thought of Wilbur as kind of a polished, kind of clean guy. So to hear that he lived in filth, it just hits different, man.
He was never going to prioritize me over anything that would give him more fame or money. In fact, he said that himself. That was exactly why he was not going to compromise at all for a solution for us to be together, because he said he wanted to see how much fame and money he could get. And I just thought we wanted to be together. I thought that's what we both wanted, because that's what he was still saying.
Prioritizing fame and money over relationships has got to be one of the most tearing and damaging mindsets to ever live in. If I got 1 million subs tonight, like, sure, I would be happy, but I wouldn't prioritize my life around it. I wouldn't prioritize getting more money and more subscribers. I would still have time for my family. Even when I had a girlfriend a couple of years ago, I didn't prioritize YouTube over her. It was always her and then YouTube and then, you know, side projects. Obviously my friends before YouTube as well. But even when I had people to care about in the picture, and I still do, by the way, I always care about those people before I do it. I never try to like always prioritize work and stuff, because there's always going to be work to do. There's always videos to be done, but you have to prioritize. So the fact that he prioritized everything, fame and everything over her, that's pretty messed up.
One time that he pinned me down and asked me to try my absolute hardest to get him off of me. And I couldn't do it, obviously. And he said something to make the point that he was so much stronger than me that I wouldn't be able to fight him back. Fight back against what? What do you mean? You don't say shit like that to people?
I've got friends that, you know, they play fight. They're in a relationship and they just kind of play fight with each other. They don't, you know, hurt themselves. They just, you know, play around, mess around, have fun, live life, whatever. But to do that, pin your girlfriend down and, you know, make her fight up? Are you sick in the head? Like, that is the ultimate sign that you're in a abusive relationship. Say that 3 times fast. But that is the ultimate, like, red flag. This is not going to end well. Bruno Sun caption over here. Like, this has got something wrong with it. If I was being pinned down and I had to fight my way back up, and Wilbur even said himself that he told her that he was stronger than her, I would run the frick away as fast as I could. That is a huge... And then Shelby made an alt post on Twitter. We're getting to Wilbur's side here. I know it's been quite long explanations for each, but she made a post saying about how it wasn't him and that you shouldn't go after the person to look for a name because they might not be ready to name drop. And I kind of understand that because, you know, they don't want to give them credit because some people are weird, but also it's their personal business. It's their stuff. It's their story. I don't have to share everything with you online, and especially online, because this stuff can get taken out of context. So what he said in the reply was, in the past week, a series of allegations have been made over my conduct from an ex-girlfriend. I want to emphasize that although I feel it fair to offer my perspective, this person's feelings are completely valid. I have taken my time sharing this statement as I wanted to process and respond respectfully and with the hope to gain deeper understanding for the situation. During our relationship's final months, I regrettably became slobbish, disrespectful, and selfish. These actions caused a lot of pain to my ex-girlfriend, and I've since sought therapy to address a lot of these behaviors, making significant lifestyle changes to rectify my past actions. I've come to realize how much my past behavior hurt this person, but I'm truly compassionately believe I have made great strides from the person I once was, and I hope I continue to grow and improve on this trajectory path. The allegation of abuse, particularly in the form of biting, deeply shocked me. Throughout our relationship, I understood from our numerous conversations and text message exchanges on the subject that this behavior was consensual, playful, and reciprocally enjoyed. I truly believe those personal message exchanges reflect mutual affection and understanding. Out of respect for her, I choose not to publish them and emphasize my perspective is not shared to diminish or invalidate anyone's feelings. Instead, I share it in the hope that I can offer a genuine and fair, relevant insight to my understanding of the situation. While I may perceive our interactions differently, I recognize that this person has processed and expressed feelings of hurt. I want to extend my sincerest apologies for any pain that I have caused. I am fully committed to understanding and addressing her concerns going forward. I hope my perspective sheds light on this situation without detracting from its message. I'm dedicated to earning and maintaining the trust of those around me, and I hope to continue to be held to these high standards I wish to attain and maintain. From Wilbur. Now, first off, that thing's a mouthful when you got to read it out loud. And secondly, if I want to be honest, Wilbur kind of just addresses the problem, says he fixed it, kind of said it was a little bit of her fault because it came to interpretation. At least that's how I interpret kind of the last part of the message, because he said he thought it was consensual, and then just is like, I'm gonna dip now. And I think, to be honest, for this kind of accusation, I mean, he doesn't even really say sorry in like a direct way. He's just kind of like, you know, I extend my sincerest apologies for this and that. But I feel like this would have been all fixed a long time ago if you were sincerely sorry about it, and this wouldn't have came out all now. It just feels kind of inauthentic because Twitter's putting pressure on him, and it seems like the same like Logan Paul stuff from when he went in Suicide Forest, and it's just kind of like, I made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment. I plan to work on myself. Well, no duh, Sherlock, you have to work on yourself after you bite somebody. But it just feels like it's coming from a position of the rat cases on Twitter, basically forcing him into an apology. Now, Shelby did make a response tweet saying, I could not have imagined what I woke up to today. My ex pretending he thought I enjoyed being hurt, and all my friends immediately coming to my defense. The support has brought me to tears. I don't even know what to say. I'll be back. I'm just taking a little time. Shelby, take all the time you need. So what are my thoughts on all this if I haven't really specified it all throughout the video? I honestly think that Wilbur is, given a few days, going to be genuine about this, and I think he is sincerely trying to work on himself. But what he did and the way he kind of responded was not the best way. It wasn't necessarily the worst way to respond to it. At least he didn't drop an hour-and-a-half video talking about all the allegations. Dream. But it could have been handled slightly better, especially considering you were the abuser in this relationship. And I totally agree with Shelby's side of everything, because who wouldn't in this situation? I mean, she was being abused and there was good enough evidence, and Wilbur came out and admitted that he did do everything. So that's kind of my take on the whole scenario. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next commentary video. Goodbye.